We are back at it with another UFC main event preview, the first of 2025. This time I'm joined by UFC Lightweight Terrance T-Rex McKinney to discuss the upcoming championship fight taking place in his division, obviously. It's an exciting fight between Islam and Arman Tsarukyan. It all goes down at UFC 311 on January 18th. Thanks again for joining us, man. Thanks again. How's everything going, man? How's your 2025 been?
It's been crazy. My daughter should be here in like 2 to 3 weeks,
Really?
and then we get to knock a motherfucker out, bring in some funds for my daughter. So all glory to God for that. Couldn't be more grateful with the timing. I get to bring in wealth and abundance for my daughter as soon as she comes in. Uh, and yeah, I'm excited about that.
That's definitely a nice way to start out the new year, right? Knock
Yeah,
someone out, get some help out the family a little bit, right?
yeah.
That's what's up, man. I usually stay away from like the fighter nicknames and all that, but like you easily, I think, have probably the best one that I've seen so far. Did you come up with that, by the way?
Nah, I didn't. But that shit is tough, though. I ain't gonna lie.
It is. It is.
Originally I was T Rex, like the regular T Rex, TREX, and I was like, my coach like, nah, but that's for babies, man. You T Rex now, cause you here to wreck these
Because you're
motherfuckers.
wrecking people. Yeah,
Yeah, and
exactly.
then we changed it to that, and then it just clicked. So shout out to Rick Little for that nickname. He was smooth with that.
Yeah, definitely a little random to bring up, but I don't know. I usually think most of them are corny, so and I don't even bring
Yeah.
them up. I usually don't even say them. I just say the name. I'm like, I'm not gonna call you the Gladiator, bro. But I think yours is funny. Um,
Yeah, I used to have an ugly little wrestling stance, and I asked my big bro Limry. I was like, "Bro, why do these people keep taking me down?" Because I was getting mad. He said, "Cause you're out there standing like a fucking T Rex. Put your arms down, protect
so it
your
all ties
legs."
in. It all ties in
Yeah.
then.
He
Look at
said,
that.
"Put your arms down, protect your legs." Yeah, I ended up being a two-time state champ. So shout out to Limry. So
Yeah, worked out. Anyway, man, I wanted to get your thoughts on this fight. Of course, obviously, I don't want to have you here all day. A lot of people are excited about it. Is it safe to say you're going to be tuning in?
100% tune in. I might even be pulling up to the course. So if you guys are in California, you might see me.
There you go.
So my boy Kevin Holland's fighting in a card.
Yeah,
So
you guys are tight, right?
yeah, I want to go support him if I can. We'll see if everything aligns up perfectly and I get to pull up. But like you said, this is huge for our division. But I think Islam will take the edge since we're already talking about it. I'm leaning towards Islam. I think just his height and his reach is going to be able to win more of the scrambles. Because like they tell you, if you wrestle before you want to be able to get higher than your opponent, and that's how you're gonna run the scrambles. Get your head up, get your body up, your chest up. You know what I mean, above your opponent's head,
Right.
and you could win the scrambles. And I think, and Arman's kind of a short little dude, so I don't think he's gonna be able to win all the scrambles like he wants to. And I think, but we're gonna see a crazy mixed martial arts left and right from the stand up to on the ground. We're gonna just see the highest level of MMA you can possibly see this fight, I believe.
Yeah, I agree with that 100%. A well-rounded game, mind you. The first fight felt, I would say, pretty competitive, right? So when you have something like that, my next question in my head is like, well, who's gotten better since that first meeting, right? Islam became champion and he hasn't lost since. Armin only lost to Gamrot, but he thinks he won the fight, as do I'm sure a lot of people. Who do you think has improved most since they last fought in 2019?
I would say Islam because this motherfucker could stand with the best in the world. Was able to strike with Dustin Poirier.
Yep.
Um, Armin, like he's good, but is he good in an area where the wrestling will cancel out? I think Islam striking is going to be a little bit better.
Sure.
Armin got like his little stuff, but realistically, we know all Armin's major victories has came on the ground.
Yeah,
You know
no,
what I
that's
mean?
true. That's technically or usually the style that he likes to impose, right?
Yeah,
He likes to
like
have
he don't
that
really like to
well-rounded game.
stand up. You know what I mean? As we seen, like
Yeah.
so,
No,
and I
100%.
think Islam was able to drop Charles. Motherfucker was never close to dropping Charles, and you could tell he wanted no part of the stand up. And I think that's where Islam has more involved at is the stand up fight, and I think that's where he's gonna beat him, and then he's gonna beat him in the scrambles. And like I said, his height, his reach, his size is gonna play a huge part of the battle.
I was going to ask you about the striking, but it definitely seems like you think Islam's a superior striker. I think he's improved like a lot in his striking since their last fight in 2019. I think that's going to be the key, in my opinion, in those, those brief stand-up exchanges where maybe they're not grappling, maybe they're not wrestling, but I think Islam probably gets the better of him in those, and I think that might add up. Who do you favor in those moments? Because it seems like you do favor Islam, right?
Yeah, I favor Islam. I think he's more powerful. Like I said, he punch harder.
Yeah.
And we see Arman get rocked before by a guy that never in his life would rock Islam. I hate to say it. Uh, but like I said, we'll see January 18th. You never know. Because, guys know Arman's a little privileged boy, so he could probably get the right people in his corners to be ready for this fight. But like I said, you can't go against Khabib and his team. They got a system and
Feels
they
like
know how
it.
to get the job done.
When I look at the top 15, I honestly think Arman is the biggest. I mean, I don't know about the rest of the division, right? The unranked guys and all that, because it's, you never know who could emerge, right? Obviously, you got guys like yourself, other guys out there just waiting to get a crack at the rankings. But as far as the rankings, I really do think Arman is the biggest threat to Islam. Do you agree with that? And if not, who do you think it is?
As of right now, that's the only guy that I would say reasonably could be a threat to really take the title from him. As for right now, yeah, definitely only Arman. Just because wrestling wise, he can cancel it out. Uh, so yeah, that's honestly the only one I think about it.
Yeah.
But I think in a couple years, there's gonna be a lot of people that can put a threat to the throne.
Speaking about that, right? You saying there's going to be maybe a lot of people that are going to be able to, hold them, do a good job against guys like that. I personally, again, don't see anyone at lightweight ranked right now beating him. But when you saw how challenging his fights were with Volkanovski, Poirier, do you look at fights like that and say anybody could beat anybody?
Yeah, it's about who could show up that night, and you can't be scared. That's what it ultimately comes down to. And that's why I tell people like sometimes it's not even a skill thing. Who can show up the best version of themselves that night? Who can
Yeah.
truly believe in the skill set that they got and go out there and implement it.
You think they're both significantly different fighters from their first fight? Because I think they're still kind of similar, but they've definitely gotten better in certain areas. But
Yeah,
what do
they
you
kind
think?
of similar, I would say. It's still going to be competitive, but like I said, I think those moments where the striking will be involved, Islam will be able to edge the rounds and take control.
Yep. Yep. Charles Oliveira said, funny enough to what similar to what I just said, that he does think that they are very alike. I could definitely see why he said that. Do you think that they're very alike? I mean, there's obviously some similarities and differences in every fighter, right? But just in a general sense, do you think that they approach fights in a similar aspect? Do you think they have similar attributes?
Uh, yes, I do, but I think Islam is falling in love with the game and he likes to challenge himself and he's willing to stand on the feet
Yeah.
to see what growth he's made. And I think Armin is not.
You say Islam fell in love with the game. It's like, it feels like the Russians, that's like all they do, right?
Yeah,
Because you're
yeah,
an MMA fighter, right? But I'm sure you got a life too. Like you just said, you had a family, this, that, and the other.
yeah.
I don't even know if Islam's ever stepped foot outside the gym.
I swear, no, they live for it. That's why I tell people I'm trying to make this lifestyle not just a camp style. You know what I mean?
Right,
You can't expect to be the guy that really living this every day. So I'm just making sure, like even when I'm at a camp, to train once a day, and I think that's gonna make a huge difference.
right. Yeah, you kind of have to
You don't
match
got
that
to go hard, but as
intensity.
long as you in there once a day, there's things you're gonna learn. You're gonna be able to evolve. So just making sure that I'm treating this like a lifestyle. You know what I mean? It's like because this game is unforgiving and can be taken away at an instant. So like just making sure I'm actually living for this now.
How do you think Armin deals with the wrestling of Islam? Yeah, I mean, he did about as good as you can the
The
first time
same way he
around.
did before. You know what I mean? He's an athletic little short guy, and his center of gravity is gonna be a little better. And
Yep.
but like I said, when you used to be able to dominate and you can't, how is his mental gonna play? Is he gonna keep the same mentality, or he's gonna break? And he started to break a little bit the first fight, and this is a 5 rounder, so I don't expect much different, to be honest.
When you say he started to break, are you talking about like in round three when he's starting to slow down?
Yeah,
Yeah. Because it's interesting, right? Because,
but I could tell, like to be honest, his cardio was better. It just Islam mentality was better.
right. Yeah, no, I could see that. And that's a big thing with him. People from his camp, Habib, him, even Umar, who's going to fight for the title. Like, they're so strong mentally, those guys. What I was wondering, though, is like, because you tend to agree with this, how is he going to be in a 5 round fight, right? I mean, we saw how Islam had him starting to wear him down a little bit towards the end of that 3 round fight. How's he going to be in rounds 4 or 5? I think that's going to be where Islam maybe wins the fight or starts to at least take
Exactly.
over, right?
That's where he's going to take over the
Yep.
fifth and fourth round. I think he has just more championship experience, and it's going to show.
It's interesting because Beneil Dariush, I saw because I was watching a couple of guys from like your division, their thoughts on the fight. He said that he thinks Arman's got to win early. Do you agree with that?
Yeah, with Islam, I think you got to put him on a quick. You know what I mean?
What do
Or
you mean by that? Put him on the quick.
like we seen Volks, you just got to get him uncomfortable. Because if
Right.
you're playing it safe and stuff, like Dustin was trying to take it slow because he didn't want to get taken down,
Mm,
he was like, able to get hit on and then taken down easier. You know what I mean? Right there,
yep.
you got to be in the face and show him that, like, yeah, I don't care what shot you're gonna do, I'm ready to. Like I told you, it's mental. At sometimes, like it's not. Sometimes not about the school. It's about who mentally truly believes they can beat this motherfucker, and that's what it's gonna come down to. So
As a fighter, so I mean, because you again, you are a UFC lightweight yourself. You're in there and going to war with some of the best guys on the planet. You emphasize the mindset, right? How important is that in comparison to just the preparation for the fight, the skills? How important is it compared to all the other stuff?
it's huge. But like I've been realizing too, is spiritually. You know what I mean? I just want to be right with God and just know that I can stand firm in the abilities that He's given me and actually believe in Him. You know, because like a lot of fighters that get to fight and they start thinking about, oh, I didn't do this, I didn't do that. I want to make sure I stand firm in what God gave me, no matter what. If I'm out of shape, in shape, that I can go compete with anyone, the best in the world, and that's the mindset that I've been with now. So.
Yeah, no, I think that's a great mindset to have, and I'm sure it'll do wonders for you. As far as this fight, and I guess it kind of does tie into you a little bit, this question that I have. I feel like from a technical standpoint, this is a fight that's more interesting for like hardcore fans, just because of we might see a lot of grappling. I mean, do you agree with that? Because it seems like the casual fans want to see knockouts. They prefer fights like yours, where they know that if you win, somebody's probably going to go to sleep, right? Do you think
Yeah.
that's true?
Yeah, the casual fans don't really like that, but this one, true martial arts fans is gonna be truly able to enjoy this one because we're gonna see
Absolutely.
every aspect of martial arts. So that's why I'm tuning in, and this gonna be able to involve my games too, and we're gonna be able to see like what they really are the best at, and find out where holes they are weak at. And this fight is gonna help you be able to have a chance to compete and maybe someday take the belt. So like any fighter that's in the lightweight division, make sure you're watching this fight if you ever really want to take the throne.
Yeah, no, I think that's a great point to make, right? I mean, you gotta keep your adversaries close. I guess you gotta study them closely, right? If not, if you want to beat them, you want to go up against them one day, you're gonna have to really know what they're about. I think that's a fair point. And it's interesting because the way you talk, it seems like this is going to be a fight similar to fight one, which I would agree with because I think it's going to go similar to that 2019 one because you're saying we're going to see the full spectrum. And if we see the full spectrum, that means we saw it in fight one. That means it would be similar to fight two. No, you think it plays out the same?
Yeah, I think Islam takes the edge, maybe even finish him this time. Because we saw Arman against Charles, he started to get kind of tired at the end. You know what I mean?
Sure.
And
Yeah, no, I could see that.
we know Islam get tired, but he got juice in the fourth round, like because that's what I'm saying. It's the mentality, and I think just his lifestyle and the way he came from, like he ain't gonna give up. And
So you're saying a guy like that actually does get tired? He doesn't have this crazy gas tank, but it's just the
yeah,
mindset.
it's the mindset. That's why I tell people sometimes it's not cardio, it's the mindset. You know what I mean? You
That's
can't
interesting.
fear getting tired, and that's what I'm working on. Like, and just realize no matter what, it's not like my heart gonna explode. You know what I mean? No matter what, your feet's gonna be able to still move. It's like who chooses to tell their brain like I'm not done moving, I'm not done fighting. So yeah, just making sure I'm digging deep mentally, and that's what's going to come down to this fight. I think they're very close in skill, but it's going to come down to who can dig the most mentally.
Any final predictions? It sounds like you got to finish. What are you thinking?
I got Islam submission. either fourth or fifth round, same way he did Dustin Poirier, to be honest.
I mean, I'm not a pro fighter like you, but I agree with that. And if he doesn't do that, I think he just wears him out and gets a decision. But yeah, I agree
Exactly.
with that. Yep, yep. Ladies and gentlemen, we're going to leave it at that. That'll do it for this edition of the main event preview. Check out Islam Makhachev versus Arman Tsarukyan for the 155-pound title, UFC 311, January 18th. A lot of numbers. You see where I'm coming with this? Anyway, Terrance, thank you so much for the time, man, and good luck in Saudi.
Yes, sir. Love, brother. Appreciate your time.